Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Knife Chats with Tobias. This is in response to a video I saw on Patty's potato peeler, and he was actually responding to a different open tag. It was a play on the knife pairings, where you show a fixed blade and a folding knife together. The idea was to take it one step further and have that knife pairing be a fixed blade and a folder from the same company. And Patty did that quite well. I urge you to check it out. I'm going to take it one step further, and I'm going to basically go knife pairings from the same brand. Again, it's going to be a folder and a fixed blade from the same brand, and also using a very similar handle material or the exact same handle material. I think for the most part, these are the exact same handle materials. In any case, that's what I'm going to be looking at. I don't know if everyone would be able to do something like this, but it does kind of make it fun to when you start looking at your collection. And actually, this is something that was fairly easy for me to do because I do kind of like to do that, grab knives from the same company that have the same handle material. Now, for some people, it would be pretty difficult to sit there and grab a fixed blade and a folder from the same company using the same handle material, unless they collect a lot of a particular brand, and that brand is known for making both fixed blades and folders. So I can imagine quite a few people would not be able to participate in an open tag like this. But if you're not limiting it to the same kind of handle material, it becomes a little more easy to grab a fixed blade and a folder from the same company. But I think this would be a lot easier to do if you're concentrating on some of the economy brands out there. For instance, I know Frost has a lot of fixed blades and folders that use the same kind of handle material and stuff like that, you know. And I know for a fact that Rough Rider also does this, especially when you start looking at some of the series of knives that they have done. And sometimes the fixed blade just kind of goes right underneath the radar on the on some of the Rough Rider series knives, and that really just happened when I was setting up for this, because I was thinking, well, I've got one of these really cool Rough Rider knives that are in a series, and this is I've shown this knife many a times. This is the one in the Outdoorsman series. This is a really nice bird and trout knife that I really like. I wish they'd reissue it again. I wish they would put it in more series and everything else, because this is just a really terrific knife. Why they haven't put it out anywhere else, I don't know. But in any case, so we've got this Rough Rider Outdoorsman series bird and trout knife. They just called it a small fixed blade. Another knife that has really been a boom for them is right here. This is the Half Hawk. This is the two-blade Half Hawk, also in the Outdoorsman series. I've got several knives in the Outdoorsman series, but I thought I'd crack out the Half Hawk to put alongside of this. Not for any particular reason. I think the knife that would be a better option to put with this would probably be like the sow belly. And so we got a sow belly here in the Outdoorsman series. But the tobacco smooth bone on this one is darker, so it didn't match up quite as well as the one on the Half Hawk did. And I could say the same thing with the one on the dog bone jack. Also, this has the blade edge for the dog bone jack. It's a really nice knife. It could have definitely gone with it. Both are in tobacco smooth bone. Both have the acorn shield. But this one, these two knives have tobacco smooth bone that really match up really nice. So that's one of the main reasons I grabbed this, because the not only do you have the shield, you actually have the tobacco smooth bone matching up in color. So that's why those two went together. Okay, let me close these two up and break out the next pairing of knives. And this one's really kind of interesting, I think. This is the novelty line of knives, the zombie nick line of knives, and this is the elephant toenail, and it has the got zombie nick there on the blade, and then you have on the other side here, does this one say it? Friends don't let friends eat friends, and you've got the zombie green acrylic with the zombie nick logo in there. Now there are a couple different things that are fixed blades in the zombie nick line of knives, but there's only one that I think is truly a knife, and it's also the only one that I know of, I believe, that is has the black blades that you see on the elephant toenail, and that is the little neck knife here. And we pull that out, and again we see zombie nick there. And on the back side, friends don't let eat friends. Is that one? Yeah. See, there we go. So those two definitely go together quite well. And this is one of the more interesting pairings also, because the fixed blade is smaller than the folder. When I was actually setting this up, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. Not only do the zombie nick knives have that little neck knife, you also had the Stoneworks series had that little neck knife. So here's two knives in the Stoneworks series where the bones or the stones are all lined up in the same fashion and everything else. So you have the little locking little locking barlow, as well as the little neck knife here. Now there's also a canoe and a small sunfish that have the same lineup of stones. So I could have brought out other knives in the Stoneworks series with this little neck knife too. And then also, it's one of the few knives, the only fixed blade in the Brian Yellowhorse series of arrowhead knives. So we got that too. So you can see how, because of the way Rough Rider rolls, sometimes you will find a little fixed blade in a series that you were not expecting. But this is really the exception to the rule, these knives here. And there's also one in a brown jig bone, so you can break out any brown jig bone folder for Rough Rider and have it done that same way. But for the most part, most of the series in Rough Rider do not have a fixed blade to go with them. You won't find one in like the Moonshiner series. You don't find one in the High Plains series. You don't find one in like the Tater Skin series. You don't see them in the classic carbons or anything like that. I think the Glow series has a matching knife in it. Matter of fact, I know it does, but the Glow series has the Small Hunter, same knife that you find in the Genuine Stag and stuff. So, and I think they do have like a red smooth bone one here, or a red jig bone, I believe they also have. So you could match this up with a red jig bone Rough Rider folder and do good with that. But for the most part, the series knives do not have one. I wish they would put more fixed blades in the series, and this is an excellent one to throw into the series, as well as this one. This one you don't see anywhere. But anyway, let's move on to the other knives that are not Rough Riders that I have matching sets of. And I'm going to clear all this away. Okay, the first set I'm going to show you here is right here, the Red Rider brand 75th anniversary Red Rider knives. There were two of them that were made. One of them was a fixed blade and one of them was a folder. They both came in a box very similar to this. As a matter of fact, this is the box for the fixed blade. I have the box for the folder around here somewhere because I bought them both brand new. And well, let's take a look at them. Okay, first up we have the RR1A Swiss Army style camp knife. And I'll set that there. And then the next knife we have is the RR2A Red Rider fixed blade. I think that's all they called it, was the fixed blade. But it's basically a camp knife. Comes with a nylon sheath. Let's get it out of there. And both knives feature a red smooth bone handle with the Red Rider 75th anniversary horseshoe. You see it there, and you see it there. Now the fixed blade, it comes with the black nylon sheath, nicely snapped there, that has a compass, a working compass on the top there. And yeah, it is still facing north. It does have a little bubble in there, but it is still facing north. So stitched and as you can tell, riveted together there. And it's got the hard plastic liner inside there. Now the Red Rider knife here, this is pretty cool. It is very similar to the old Colonial Swiss Master series of knives in the way that the blades are lined up and everything. You have a only one back tool going on with it, which is your Phillips driver. You got several layers here. 1, 2, 3, 4, a 5-layer knife. Red smooth bone covers, like I mentioned, which is kind of unusual for this style of knife. You got the front small blade here. The next in line is, I believe, your wood saw. Very aggressive wood saw. It does work. It's got 2 rows of teeth going on, and it cuts remarkably well, actually, better than I had anticipated it cutting. And then you've got the scissors behind the wood saw. And the scissors are also not at all bad. And then next up, you have the main blade. And the main blade has the blade edge there. Red Rider 75th anniversary. And followed by Red Rider and Little Beaver there. And you see Red Rider on the tang stamp. And then on the back side, you have the pattern number, RR1A, China. And then the back tools here are almost like the front tools. But if the shield is the front, then the shield is there. So the shield is not on this side. So these are the back tools, I guess. Swiss Army style can opener with the little screwdriver tip there. And then you have the cap lifter, screwdriver, wire stripper going on there. So that is the Red Rider 11A. I'm sorry, the RR1A Red Rider camp knife. And then the little fixed blade. Nice little finger grooves. Falls right into my hand. I'm sure if you had a bigger hand than mine, those finger grooves would be just awful. It's 8.5 inches overall. So you've got a 4-inch handle and a 4.5-inch clip blade. Got a little bit of a swedge going on there. This is unsharpened, but there is definitely a little bit of a swedge going on there and a nice long cutting edge going on there. And not bad. And I believe these use 440A stainless steel. I do not know for certain. Nicely pinned. And well, does the red perfectly match? Not really. But they are both listed as red smooth bones. So, and everything else about these two knives definitely say, well, they were made for the 75th anniversary. So yeah, I would say that is a matching set of knives from Red Rider. Okay, I could be accused of cheating on this one, I guess, because these two knives are not going to be a perfect match. This is by Queen, and it is their little bird and trout knife. We see it here. And it is in the honey amber jig bone handle. I love the honey amber jig bone. And we see here Queen Cutlery Company, Titusville, Pennsylvania. But the Tang stamp on the other side says Sharp Fans USA made. And you see it has a blade edge for Sharp Fans, 2010 club knife. And this was the 2010 club knife for Sharp Fans. Sharp Fans was basically a fan support group for Knives Live TV back in the day. And then, well, things just kind of went south with Knives Live TV. It went away, and Sharp Fans is no more. So, but it is a knife by Queen Cutlery Company, and it is in the honey amber jig bone. And this is the only fixed blade knife I have from Queen Cutlery that was out of Titusville, Pennsylvania. So I'm going to go with that one, and my honey amber jig bone toothpick, also by Queen Cutlery. But now, as you can tell, the shields do not match. This says Sharp Fans, this says Queen Cutlery. If I could get one of these in from Queen, maybe I would. I don't know. I've got that one, so I'm not sure if I would spend the extra $150 or so that I would have to pay just to get the right shield to match this knife. It's not that big a deal for me. And it's a toothpick, 5-inch large toothpick, Queen Cutlery Company, number 20. And you see there, tool steel. That is because they are using D2 tool steel. We see here the proper Queen Cutlery, Titusville, Pennsylvania, PHD2, right there, and nothing on the back side. So the Tang stamp was moved around on that knife. But if you follow my channel, then you know that both of these knives, the large toothpick and this little game hunter, both of these are technically bird and trout knives. So different versions of the same knife, or knives are made for the same purpose, for birding and trouting. So it's kind of cool, and they both have the honey amber jig bone handles. Thinking I'll do a little cleanup work here so I can make room for the next set of knives, and also make this a little safer for me. Okay, stand up, Skip, stop getting drunk. All right, next two knives. Pan back a bit and break out a couple Camillus knives. First up is the folder. In this case, a fish knife, two-bladed fish knife using the Durastack covers. This is a pattern 31 from Camillus. You've got the nice long fish scaler there with the hook remover, cap lifter there, and then the long skinny blade here. And as you can tell, this is sword brand, handmade, Camillus, stainless, USA. They're number 31 fish knife and Durastag covers. Durastag was the type of Delrin handle that Camillus used to compete with the Schrade Staglon. So it is Delrin jig to look like stag, and they called theirs Durastag. And for the matcher for the Camillus sword brand fish knife number 31 is the 1013 Yellowstone upswept skinner, or upswept hunter, whatever way you want to call it. Trailing point hunter. You see it right there. Also a sword brand out of Camillus. See, there's sword brand, handmade. Camillus USA number 1013. And, well, there you have the Durastag cover or Durastag handle on the knife. I think it's a pretty good match for the number 31 fish knife. Now, it's not a perfect match, but then if you're talking about stag, it should not be a perfect match. But I think they did a pretty good job on there. Now, both of these knives actually started off in stag, and then they went over to Durastag, depending on what year Camillus was making them. And a lot of people have mistaken the Durastag by Camillus for genuine stag and have sold it as genuine stag. And the person getting it on the other end is none the wiser because of how well they did it. It is supposed to be like a burnt stag. A burnt India sandbar stag. That's what this is supposed to look like. And I think it looks pretty good. Some telltale signs that make me think that this is definitely Durastag, though, is you can kind of see a seam running down the middle there. Now, obviously, this could have also been two slabs of stag that were pinned to the handle, which is what they did with the original 1013s also. It was two separate slabs that were pinned together, similar to the way you put the covers on the folder. So, any case, there you have it. I think that's a pretty good looking matchup. The 1013 and the number 31 fish knife and trailing point hunter. And I was hoping to just keep everything right up front, but there's not enough room. That's what happens when you're dealing with fixed blades. So let me get all these out of the way and break out the last knife. My last pair is by Meyerchin. We've got the fixed blade here along with its marlin spike. And then we also have the small little crew knife. This is the second generation crew knife by Meyerchin. Both of these knives will have Bubinga wood handles. And you notice that they are attached with little torque screws there. This is the second generation, which means both of the blades on here operate off of a liner lock. It is right hand tip down carry. Well, tip down carry for the blade. You see the pocket clip right there. The pocket clip can be removed. It cannot be reversed. And obviously the liners are set up for right hand opening, but you can actually open this blade either hand, left or right handed. You just saw me do that. If I remove the pocket clip, the blade is even easier for me to reach left-handed. Right-handed, it's much easier to reach and open it using what is basically a shackle key cutout on the blade. You see the Meyerchin whale there, and then these use Marine Pro steel, which is basically a 440A equivalent steel out of Germany. The steel is what they're using on these knives. Earlier ones were made in Japan using also I believe 440C at one time and later 440A. All Meyerchin knives are serialized, so this is 0610. And you see the stamp there for their guaranteed quality. Meyerchin Generation 2, tested at sea. And like I said, this is Bubinga wood. Now this would be a secondary knife for a person on a sailing boat. You've got a small marlin spike there. You do have a little lanyard ring there, so if you want to attach a lanyard, you could. And you've got their typical curved marlin spike, not extremely sharp at the end here, so that you don't damage your lines when you're doing stuff. Again, it is held in place with a liner lock, and you can open and close it one-handed. Well, more or less. I could have probably done that a little less kludgy. Anyway, that's the one in Bubinga wood. You can take off the covers so that you can clean it up a lot better. It is all stainless steel construction to deal with the salt water and everything else. Behind here is the, I think it's the W100, but we'll take out the marlin spike first. Nice big old long marlin spike with the shackle key at the top here. And you see Meyerchin in there. Got about a, 7-8 inches long. Get the old ruler out, and we see here that yes, it is right at 7 inches long for the marlin spike, and it has that typical bend to it. Definitely not a real sharp point going on, and a nice little shackle key down at this end with the little Meyerchin word written there, and that's about it for that. On the sheath, it goes right up front. You can slip it in either side. It will end up molding into the sheath. You got the Meyerchin whale there, nicely riveted at the top, nicely stitched on the side here. Heavy stitched leather sheath, and it has also been waterproofed, oiled and such. However, they also make them in nylon, and the nylon sheaths probably are a wiser choice for somebody who is seriously out on the water a lot, because, leather rots and nylon doesn't, so much better choice with that. And like I mentioned, it is the knife itself has the babinga wood handles going on with it, and you see that they are pinned or held in with torque screws, so you can remove them. The same as what you have on the babinga wood handles on the little crew knife. Now, the reason I went with the babinga wood is because babinga wood is a heavy, dense wood that is not prone to rotting, and it actually produces its own oil and such, so that it is actually good around water. So very water resistant, and just all in all, a very good wood to be used around salt water and such. So that's why I chose it. And also I just really like the wood. They make handles in other material too, so that they are less likely to rot and everything else. They make them in they have a light knife using like an ABS plastic, which really is a much better choice for water use. Again, Marine Pro stainless going on there, and you'll see the Meyerchin whale up on the top of the blade. You got the nice cutout for a shackle key, and in this case, this blade is the fine edge or the plain edge. Nice big old sheepfoot blade. The knife itself is right at 8.5 inches long. Man, I almost just cut myself. 8.5 inches long. Cutting edge on the blade is right at 4 inches. Really good handle, good grip going on. You got the 4-inch coil there, it just kind of falls in place. You do have some serious jimping up on top here, so you can get your hand up on there or your thumb up on there, and you can actually still baton with this, and that's what these knives are really designed for, is to get it there and hit it with a wooden dowel to cut through a rope if you need to in emergency. And you can do that even with the slot cut in there, so it all fits in really well. Also got the full tang construction, as you can see, and you do have the little hole for the lanyard in the back here, so that all works out really well. Now, if you notice this one, the crew, that one has the 3/4 inch serrated edge going on, or 3/4 length serrated blade going on. The blade length overall is right at 2.5 inches, with about 1.5 inches, 1.75 maybe, in the serrated section going on. And if you notice here also, you can actually get a forward choil going on right there, and also press down here for cutting up. So there you have that with this knife. They also make a larger one, but I do not have one in babinga wood, but let's break it out just so we can see what the larger one would look like. So this is the first generation captain's knife, and this is a much larger knife, as you can tell. This one is 5 inches overall, 5 inches closed. This one, the crew, is just coming in at 3 5/8 of an inches long. So this is about the size of your standard canoe. This is about the size of your buck 110. And you see here a nice big old blade on there. The blade on this one is about 3 1/2 inches long with a cutting edge that is 3 inches. And you see the serrated section there, which comes in right at 2 inches or so. And this one has this is the first generation knife by Meyerchin. See there, patented 440 stainless, 440A. This one is made in Japan. And the blade releases using the lanyard ring on the back here. Interesting enough, also has a locking marlin spike, and it also releases using the lanyard ring. So that's the earlier one. Also have one in ABS plastic, very similar, or FRN, I'm sorry, not ABS, FRN. And this one has the little red light in there. So this is the Meyerchin light knife. Very reminiscent of what you would see from Spyderco almost. Anyway, there you have it. This is my last pairing, the Meyerchin fixed blade and crew knife in Babinga wood. Stick around, I'll put up a slides of all the major pairs. Let me take just a second to thank you once again for dropping by and spending a few minutes here at Knife Chats with Tobias. I really do appreciate it, and I do appreciate any comments that you leave. So please remember to give me that thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you'll know when the next episode is up and running. Thanks again for dropping by. Really do appreciate your time here.